Teachers of Reddit, what is the most delusional thing you've seen a parent do? I work in a daycare and for 3 months this one dad would come in and yell at us that his kid wasn't potty trained yet. The kicker of the entire thing was that his kid wasn't even 2 yet. I used to teach children's art classes. One girl turned up and shyly said hi to me. Her mum got cross with her and sternly made her go back outside so that she could re-enter the room and make an impression. The girl came back and gave me a nice big fake smile and wave and loudly said hello. The mother also spent way too much time making sure I realized that they lived in a very rich suburb and went to a very elite private school. Well, it clearly made an impression. Pity it was my mom's a toolbox. I'm not a teacher, but I'm sure if the teacher in question was a Redditor my story would be here. My primary school taught Chinese. My mum is so staunchly unfriendly towards Asians that she refused to let me participate in these lessons. The school said they weren't going to employ someone to sit in a classroom and supervise me while all the other students had the Chinese lesson. So my mum did it. Once a week throughout grades 1 to 7, all my classmates would go to another classroom for their lesson, while I would stay in my classroom with no one but my mum. I'm so sorry. There is no way my daughter plagiarized. She didn't copy and paste it, she printed it out and retyped every word. First day of my mom's kindergarten class in 90s Orange County, a parent says to my mom, "My child is going to Harvard, what are you going to do to get him there?" The parent of a high school student who constantly disrespected me and acted up in class believed that if he sat in during my class his daughter would behave. The father and daughter got into an argument during class and both were asked to leave because they were interrupting the lesson. Let their kids skip more than a third of the school days, never answered or returned a single call, nor showed up for a single parent conference, and then claimed that I should be fired for being a bad teacher when their kid failed. Another teacher I work with has a kid who refuses to come to class participate unless her parents buy her something each week. The parent always gives in to the bribe, every week, and the kid still sometimes refuses to do anything anyway. Everybody's pissed at the kid, but if the parents never gave in the first place then she wouldn't have done it again. My mom is a principal in a not very nice area and has had to deal with some pretty rough parents. A couple of months ago, some girl beat the crap out of another girl in the cafeteria. When my mom brought her down to the office, she threatened to fight my mom, so my mom called her mom. Her mom then came in and also threatened to fight her. No fighting occurred. Police were called though. When I was in high school at an all-girls Catholic high school, 2 girls who happened to be cousins got into a physical fight at lunch, got called to office. Their moms, who are sisters, were called to the school and then the moms got into a physical fight in the office. It was quite the day. I was a para in a special ed classroom. We had one boy with autism who was 9 years old. His mum told me one day that it hurts him to poop in the toilet. She would let him poop in his pants. Then she would put the poop in the toilet and his underwear in a bucket of bleach water. He used the bathroom by himself no problem all the time at school. He was clearly not in pain pooping on the toilet. I worked for a socialization program for children with special needs. I had a mother of a fantastic young boy with severe autism and no verbal skills full out argue publicly with my boss that he needed to be moved to a class with the highest functioning kids. She told us her baby had nothing wrong with him. He's a wonderful kid, but he couldn't handle that much stimuli. He clearly struggled to be able to communicate. I think a fair amount of parents whose children have special needs are really in denial, and to the detriment of their children's development. We all get blamed for the student's bad grades. Kid has 30 missing assignments. Of course it's the teacher's fault he's failing the class. So annoying. I used to be a high school teacher's assistant during the summer. These summer classes were usually taken by students who failed them the first time around. One mother comes up to me at the end of the semester demanding to know how her daughter had failed math a second time. I told her that it was because she spent too much of her time socializing and texting on her phone during class, at which point the mom exploded saying that I was lying because her daughter didn't even have a phone, and that I was grading unfairly, and that her daughter shouldn't be having such a hard time with math, etc. Turns out the daughter bought a cell phone off a friend, and got a pay-as-you-go contract behind her mother's back after she got her phone taken away the first time she failed math. If only she would apply that initiative in acquiring a cell phone towards other things in life. At a statewide convention for middle schoolers that included a talent show. Basically a bunch of middle school kids from mostly rural areas doing magic tricks, singing, playing an instrument, signing a song in ASL, etc. Mother tells her daughter that there might be talent scouts. Their daughter freaks and bombs her talent. Seriously? What talent scout hits up middle school talent shows? They usually come in a van with free candy written on the side. A boy took a picture of a special needs girl's butt because her jeans rode down a bit. He passed the picture around the school, which resulted in lots of bullying directed toward the girl. When the boy was suspended, his father appealed the suspension, blamed the school for targeting his child, and threatened to sue. This resulted in the best line I've ever heard from a school principal. "Fine. The moment I hear from your lawyer is the moment you'll be reading the charges I'll be filing on your student." I wish I had that principal to support me when I was teaching. Gave that up quick after dealing with a lot of similar stories from this thread. My mom is a special education teacher. She has seen numerous parents try to force their kids into special education classes just because they wanted the disability check that comes with it. It's absolutely disgusting. My friend's mom sat in class with him to make him behave in high school. Humiliation goes a long way. My son is not a homo sapien. He is a heterosapien. I was working with a class of gifted high school students taking a summer course. During a field trip, one of my students needed to go to a doctor's appointment and would be picked up early by her parents. The only way to contact the group on the field trip was my cell phone, so the parents got my personal number. In the week left in the summer course, I received 23 text messages and 15 calls asking why their 10th grade daughter had not called them back. Please clarify. Principal here had a kid who was gifted and who almost died at birth. Mum felt super guilty and as a result, she wouldn't dare do or say anything to upset him, so kid ran the show. Kid got other kids and teachers in trouble by lying, then would tell his mom some story and she would come sailing into his defense. Even said her son would never lie. Anyway, the year in my school was a gong show. After that year, kid convinced his mother the whole school was full of bullies, mean teachers and an incompetent principal. They withdrew him and put him in a private school. Good move. Former private school trustee, not in my school. That kid would be bounced within the week. Don't care how rich you are, how gifted the kid, no buttholes allowed. I caught a girl cheating by writing formulas on her hand. She told the dean and her mother that was how she studied and she had forgotten to wash it off. Mum believed her and set up conference with me to explain. Dean did not and she got a Saturday school. Think breakfast club. Dance teacher here. I had a parent pull her 3-year daughter out of a dancing concert which she had paid roughly $300 in performing costs and $250 in tuition because her child's class were cast as the, as she described, rodent mice from Cinderella and not as the mermaids from Ariel. The mouse costumes wear beautiful pink and grey glitter tutus and were classed as the cutest performance of the night. After she heard the reviews, she tried to get us to stage the concert again so her daughter could perform. My mother was a lunch lady when I was in kindergarten, and there was a girl who was morbidly obese in my class. She couldn't walk from the classroom to the lunchroom without getting sick from the physical activity. My mom and some of the other lunch ladies started tweaking the menu when she got in line to have the healthier options out for her to eat. Her mother caught wind of this and started packing her lunch, always with cookies and Twinkies and soda. I don't know how as a parent you can allow their child to live like that, to encourage it. I'm not saying don't give your kids treats, but how in the heck do you let it get to that point? If the child is actually getting physically sick from the exertion to just travel to the lunchroom, then I think I'd be calling CPS. There is something very not right there. I was a student but dealt with a crazy parent. Mum of a classmate complained that I missed over 50% of class and received an A, but their kid who only missed one day failed. She tried to get me suspended when she saw that her son wasn't going to be passed. I had to go to a parent-teacher conference, my classmate, his mom, me, and the admins, for 2 weeks during lunches to explain to this crazy bee I wasn't going to be failed. I teach elementary French, and as a treat at the end of the month, the kids get to watch a little bit of a movie in French. So I sent home a notice to parents to let them know this was the plan and give them an idea of some of the shows I was thinking about. One of them was Beauty and the Beast. Shortly after I sent this notice home, one of the parents emailed me to tell me they were fine with most of the choices but didn't want their daughter watching Beauty and the Beast. There was no explanation for why. I've been told by the other teachers that this girl's parents are kind of bizarre and have heard a couple of stories in the few months I've been there. They are a highly religious family and don't want their children exposed to anything they deem inappropriate. I had a classmate in college tell me that her parents banned Beauty and the Beast because it promoted interracial romance and bestiality. I saw a parent rip a Revolution poster from the wall, claiming that it impacted her religious freedom. I had no idea evolution and religion are in a battle to the death. I'm still in student teaching, but when I was in high school, students could rent a MacBook for the school year. You filled out a contract and weren't allowed to replace certain parts or install certain things. Naturally, one kid I was acquainted with who constantly bragged about getting around the rules got caught and was to have his school-issued laptop revoked for the rest of the school year as well as be suspended for a short amount of time. His mom stormed in, made the assistant principal cry in her surrounded by Windows office, and the kid showed up 2 days later with his laptop back. It wasn't a question if the kid could afford a laptop without the school's reduced rental price. He had numerous desktop computers and a personal laptop. One time a kid got into a fight with another kid in the hallway. He got this kid on the ground and started kicking the crap out of him. As he was kicking, his sneaker flew off and got stuck in the ceiling tiles. As I'm leaving school for the day, he's standing with his mother in the front office, and she's screaming at the poor principal because her son only had one shoe. A couple hired me to teach their 13-year-old fat daughter to ride a bike, a deal to which she only agreed if they bought her a $450 bike. They did. During the lesson, she sat down and pouted and refused to do anything. I still got paid. Special education teacher here. A parent recently told me they believe their son shouldn't need SPED by middle school if I am doing my job right. Their son is nonverbal and severely autistic. It just made me sad. Not a teacher, but I know of a parent who attempted to put their son with a 29 ACT and a 3.4 GPA into a special needs program. He is perfectly healthy and even has a job as a computer tech since he was 15. His parents are nuts and he is working on emancipation from his parents. I have to stop coming into these threads. My blood pressure always goes straight through the roof. I teach in Japan, and in Japan a parent has to voluntarily put their child in special needs classes. If they do not, the student must take normal classes with every other student. I can't tell you how many times I've seen children with severe learning disabilities be forced to sit in a normal class they can't understand because a parent is in denial and or ashamed that their child isn't normal. You have been visited by the ingenious Joe. Comment brain so you always see the glass half full. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.